Street cred sports. Street cred sports. I'm crossing over. I'm Euro stepping.
Hello, this is Keenan of Street Cred Sports Training, and welcome to another episode of Time to Ball. This is the Luka episode, number 77. I believe that's Luka's number in the NBA. Luka Doncic. I'm always mess his name up because I always feel like I'm pronouncing it wrong when I say it the first time. So Luka, my apologies if I mess your name up. I know how big that is. I've been called Keenan. Yeah, I've been called quite a few. I kind of get used to it, so I'm not expecting you to, but yeah, I get it if I messed it up. Hope y'all doing well out there. We are chugging along, back on track. Last week felt good to get back in and, you know, feel like I was proving a point or making a difference. This week, got a lot of stuff to get to, so let me dispense with the pleasantries and let me get into it. So, first thing I want to say is with weekly events, sports, and live things that interest me. This portion is sponsored by 915 Carpet Cleaning. They take care of all of your needs, whether it's residential or commercial, whether it's flooring or carpet. 915 Carpet Cleaning, they get the job done. Look up 915 Carpet Cleaning. The carpet cleaner you know before you need one. First thing I want to talk about is how fans of teams are something else. I was watching the game and referee made a call. The call was clear. The receiver didn't have the ball, right? Fans watched the replay. They actually watched the replay over and over. You could see a fan or a group of fans watching the replay. And then, the referee says, it wasn't a catch. So they could see clearly that the player didn't catch the ball like they thought it was initially called a catch. And they all yelled out bullshit. They were yelling out bullshit. It's like, man, he didn't catch it. Like, a responsible fan should be one like, yeah, okay, all right, But you'll hear oftentimes in games, whether it's whatever sport, if it's a call that goes against that team, people just boo, right? So even if it's the correct call, they just boo just to be booing. And it, I don't want to say it fascinates me. It bothers me because it's like, yo, are y'all even educated to how the game is played? Like, are you just going to boo just because you hear everybody else booing? Yeah, let's boo. Hey, let's boo. What's going on? Oh, yeah, no, let's boo. Come on, man. You can't be booing. If you know what you're watching, you should be able to say, damn, you know what? Yeah, that was a good call. Damn, I thought he had it too. But when you're booing, when you boo a call, that's obvious. Like, everybody who watches like, oh, yeah, no, that's not a catch. Oh, that's not a catch. And then you boo it, that just, to me, it shows that you're not as educated as you should be. And I get it. Fans are, people, you just love a team. But if you're going to voice your opinion, you probably should know what it is that you're watching and what the actual rules of whatever it is that you're watching go. Take some time to understand what the rules and regulations and stuff are. So when you're booing and cheering, when you boo and you see something, you be like, yeah, nah, oh, damn, good try, sir. We appreciate you trying on that one. Maybe next time we'll get it or whatever. I don't know. I'm just trying to sound diplomatic, but it does bother me listening and watching. Not really listening, but watching games and seeing, that something clearly happened and they're booing anyway. So let me move on. I want to talk about sources. Okay. Now, what is the source? I was trying to look it up, and from what I saw from the research I was looking at, a source is, something that helps give information on some things. Now, what I'm speaking of is, I'm specifically talking about sports sources. Right now, obviously, it starts with news. You have journalists who use sources to get information about things behind the scenes that, whatever it is, they don't want you to know the whole story. So you have sources that are like that, they'll use Watergate or like a whistleblower for the tobacco industry. That was one of the biggest sources because this person saw, that what the tobacco industry was doing was intentionally making stuff that was addictive to get people hooked on cigarettes. So you would have such a hard time breaking it. And now the thing is, did they know the long term effects of cigarette smoke? I would think they knew that some of those chemicals in their cigarettes wasn't good for people. It wasn't going to be a good thing. And if you want them to be smoking for years and years and years, you have to make the correlation that, look, we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but something bad is going to happen if you smoke certain amount of cigarettes, for 5 to 10 to 15, 20 years or so. So I've known people who smoked since I was young. I've never smoked. It doesn't mean anything. I've just never smoked. Okay, all right. Let me backtrack. Because when I was like 8 or 9, one of my cousins, Joe Jr., he was like, "Yo, let's smoke some," and I was like, "Oh, okay." So I'm following my cousin. He's older. He wanted to be like him. So what we did is he got a paper bag, right? Paper sack. We tore it up and made one of the pieces of paper sack be like a cigarette. And then we got some dried up leaves, just some regular leaves that was there. Crumbled them up, put them in there, kind of rolled it up. Now, I'm not thinking joint. I'm thinking cigarette, right? Lit it, said, here, try it. And I was like, okay, I was all excited. I took one little puff. It burned my lungs. I coughed for hours. That was the only puff I've ever taken at 9 years old. So yeah, technically you could say, yeah, okay, you did smoke. Yeah, no, I took one puff and realized that it wasn't for me, right? So I've never smoked, so I'm not, trying to say that, hey, I'm a better person because I don't smoke. I'm just saying I've seen people who smoke at a younger age, and now you see the effects of it. You see the things that happen to them. So whether the industry knew or not, that's, I mean, I believe there's information out there that lets you know that they damn well did know, right? But okay, so let's just give them the benefit of the doubt. But in any case, sorry to sidetrack on that. The point I'm making is there was somebody in there that knew that what they were doing was wrong. So they needed to help with the public, because if the public knew and got outraged, then maybe they could warn people, right? Like if you look at back when you were listening to certain music, right? And somebody comes out and says, hey, well, no, that's not a good example. That's not a good example. So we'll stay on task with this. All right. So that's kind of my ideal and what through history has taught me a source is. If somebody's telling you something and they're lying, and you have somebody within their organization that leaks information to a journalist, like, yo, this dude lying, man. Don't believe what they saying. They lying, and I can show you why they lying. Ask them this, right? And then you ask them a tough question and they don't have an answer. That's kind of what sources are. So I say all of that to say, I think, and this is just my opinion, sources should be there to help out if an entity is doing wrong or enlighten the public on something behind the scenes, right? What I don't think sources should be is I don't think sources should be out there to trash people anonymously. Okay, so where are you going with all of this, Kay? Well, Jaylen Brown was upset about a source that spoke to Stephen A. Smith said he wasn't marketable. Right now, Stephen A. Smith, the way he said it, he didn't quite articulate it the way he should to make sure it came out that way. Came across as if he was kind of, oh man, they say he not marketable, right? So he later on went in, said, hey, look, this is what I was actually trying to say and stuff like that. Damage is done. But if you look at throughout the history of sports, you'll get another anonymous sources say this, 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 and this. And I'm seeing a lot more. You start to see a lot more where it's really negative. So my question is, why are those boundaries being pushed with anonymous sources? Because you'll hear people say, yeah, that people who speak anonymous are cowards because you need to put your name on it if you're going to talk bad about somebody. I truly feel when it comes to certain things, you shouldn't be allowed to be quote unquote an anonymous source. And I think journalists, the media, they hide behind it because you can get juicy information on something, right? Talking about somebody's, past, like, hey man, he's sleeping. Like, okay, I give you an example. The Boston Celtics thing. Okay, the head coach Ime Udoka apparently was having multiple. Well, he was having multiple relationships with people on the Boston Celtics staff. Right. So to me, that's a workplace thing. Now they come out and they're having sources saying, "Oh, well, this is what he was doing. He was doing this. He was doing that." And it didn't sound like it was anything predatory. Now there were whispers that he was using his position of authority to get what he wanted or manipulate it. But most of the stuff that came out that I heard was basically saying that he was in a consensual relationship with other women, and he got fired for it. So to me, if he gets fired, right, multiple reports come out, Ime Udoka is gonna be let go, right? Sources say, he was having consensual relationships with other women on staff. Does that part really need to come out? Maybe it's just an HR thing. Maybe HR it was some internal, and you know what? We can't keep him because it's something that he did that goes against our human resources and our policy, right? Now, people are going to try to, investigate, and they're going to try to talk to people. And that's when you get people who start talking about stuff and letting the public know, right? Now, my question is, if we were to put that against the tobacco thing, did what Ime Udoka do harm the public? The stuff with Watergate, that was stuff that was harming the public. So, in my opinion, I know it's different, y'all. I don't want you to be like, oh, how you gonna compare it? I'm making a parallel, right? I'm making a parallel. They're in the same space. If you just take the root of what is going on, and for me, if you just say he was dismissed for personnel problems, like, hell, people get fired every day, and people don't actually know what it is unless that person comes out and tells you, yeah, man, they fired me because I was late to work. Why? What do you mean you was late to work? Oh, they gonna fire you for that? Like, yeah. And then you find out, yeah, he been late to work since he started working there. He late to work every day, and he lived 5 minutes from work, but he always 15 minutes late, right? If you want to divulge and tell on yourself, that's fine because it's coming from the horse's mouth. But do you need somebody else saying, yeah, they got fired because they always late to work? Like, okay, why do we need a source for that? So my biggest thing with sources is I think it should be to help if it's some bad information that somebody's doing something bad. That's just me. But all of this other stuff, it comes across to me, and this is just to me, like they're gossiping. You want to gossip, you want to talk bad about somebody, and you know that you can use and say anonymous source so they can report it and everybody's out there and you never have to say anything, right? I think that is something that shouldn't be out there. So, all right, so I was watching the game last night, Tampa Bay Bucks and Baltimore Ravens. Now, when I say I was watching the game, I wasn't watching the whole game because I was doing the training while I was on. So every time there was a break, seemed like every time I took a break last night, Baltimore scored. Now, if I'm a Bucks fan, I'm not even trying to take a break now. I'm just trying to work straight through because I'm like, man, every time I take a break, they score. I'm okay. No more breaks. Let's go through. What I want to talk about is the end of the game. All right, so Baltimore is up at one point, I think 41 or 38-18. Right, they're thrashing them. And if you've seen Baltimore, Baltimore gets up on a lot of teams, right? And they take their foot off the gas, right? And some teams, like when they played Dallas, they was up on Dallas, I think 28-0. And then, they started kind of with the prevent defenses, which is something I hate. I've always hated the prevent defense. I get what it's for, but I think to me there's a better way, right? You should still kind of play and play the game hard and don't allow them any type of momentum because you never know what can happen. Well, Dallas came back and I almost, had an opportunity at the end. They, it wasn't it was an opportunity. It wasn't a realistic opportunity, but it kind of looked like it was an opportunity. Well, they up on the Bucks. Bucks do they score. They get an onside kick. They're able to make it score. So now the score is respectable. They're still down 10, right? They get the ball back. Baltimore is taking all of their starters out for the most part. Now, should they have? Man, it's, on the offensive side or defensive side, maybe they're using this opportunity to get younger people some snaps and some reps and meaningful games. Also, hey, we're like, hey, you know what? We're in so much control. We don't feel they're gonna come back. We don't need to endanger our starters, with a senseless injury. So what happens is, the wide receiver Goodwin. I can't think of his first name, but it's Goodwin. I want to say it's Charles Goodwin, but I could be wrong. But Goodwin, really, really good receiver. It's about minute and 30 seconds left. Tampa Bay has the ball. They're trying to get down. They feel they have no timeouts. They feel like, hey, if we score, we can get we can get an onside kick. Now, this would be the third onside kick because the first one they got, the second one didn't work out. Baltimore recovered it. So they're figuring, okay, well, if we score, we can get a onside kick and be able to kick a field goal with under a minute and some seconds with no timeouts, right? So they throw a pass off to Goodwin. He gets hit, routine hit, wasn't nothing, terrible. And it looks like he either broke a bone in his leg or maybe he tore a ligament in his leg, right? Gruesome injury. So the question was, should they have pulled him out? Because at that point, you don't really have an opportunity to win that game. Now, I will say that, yeah, as a competitor, you want to still compete for an opportunity to win. Like the game is not over until it hits zeros. But I was trying to find, and I couldn't find a game or a situation in NFL where a team was down by that much and they came back and won. The closest that I thought of at the time was, what was it? In the Super Bowl, 28-3. They were down 25 points early, and then they started to come back early in the second half, and that momentum kept going throughout the game. They didn't start trying to make anything a game until late in the fourth quarter, right? And for as good as Baltimore is, you have seen how they kind of let teams in because they get up by so much, and I think they're not understanding how to deal with it. Playing, do we still stay as aggressive as the first quarter, or do we kind of let loose a little and try to play the clock and run time off? I think you should play with the same intensity that you got to score up. If you score 40 points away, you still keep your foot on that gas, right? Because if we're going to say, hey, we're going to keep playing to the end, then offense should play to the end too. I don't think they should have. I think, hey, you know what? You already have one wide receiver that got hurt with a hamstring. This is me. There was nothing good that could come out of trying to play to me, it was junk yards, junk stats. You're trying to play really hard in the last last minute of the game to try to score when you should have been. Obviously, you're playing hard. I don't make it seem like they weren't playing hard, but you know why you're able to score. You know that they've let their foot off the gas and they're coasting, and you're taking advantage of it and you're scoring. So by putting yourself in that position, now you've lost one of your wide receivers for the whole season. I don't see any way with how this receiver comes back. Now we'll see what the test results come, but I want to say last night it said he was out. He was out, based on preliminary reports. So, everybody's like, nah, you play to the end. And I was like, yeah, I get it. You can play to the end, but you're still trying to throw the ball over the place. Hand that damn thing off, run that clock out. Look, man, they bust our ass. You know what? Hey, maybe we'll have an opportunity to beat them. Or maybe we'll see them again. Maybe if we get to the Super Bowl and they get to the Super Bowl, we'll make it right. But doing that, to me, it's just like if you down 20 points with 2 minutes left, there ain't no 20 that the mathematics are against you. Even if you down 20 points, okay? If you shooting 3 points, right? Let's say you got opportunity to get 4-point plays. You got to get 5 of those. That's 5 possessions. And in those 5 possessions, you got to make sure that this other team doesn't score in those 5 possessions. If you're shooting just threes, you got to get 7 possessions. You got to make sure that this other team doesn't score. How does this team not score? You have to foul and hope that they don't make any free throws. Even if they make 1 out of 2 each time, you're still not going to get it possessions wise. You can make it look attractive by hitting 3 of them, and it looks a little exciting. But for the reality is, you're not going to be able to come back. So you know what? Okay, hey man, y'all got us tonight. That's the way I view it. There are some situations where I would justify it, but man, they were getting their ass kicked all night. I mean, they went up 10-0, and then Baltimore just went the blank off, and. So for me, I don't agree with it. Hey, if you can find me, because I'm still look, because just because I couldn't find it then doesn't mean it might not be out there that game or a team was down like that, and then they come back, right? So let me know what you think. All right, the last thing I'm gonna talk about is the Deshaun Watson situation. Now, if you know about Deshaun Watson, he was coming out of Clemson, one really viewed as a top QB, goes to the Houston Texans. He ascends to be what you would call an elite quarterback. He was doing a lot of great play with not a great system. There's a lot of turnover in coaches, some turmoil in the organization, all of those things, right? He was still playing at an elite level. They were making the playoffs. They were raising noise, and you started to see, you know what, you can build around them. Hey, we get some stuff in here, some draft picks, this and that. We can be a team that's contending for a Super Bowl, right? Then there was some stuff that came out with Deshaun Watson. Now, the sources that went to the information, this is when I say I'm great with sources, because you find out, okay, allegedly, right? I know that you got to say allegedly because it ain't happening. But here's the thing with me. This is how I was raised. If one person says you did something, oh man, that person just tripping. If 2 people at different times that don't know each other say you did something, now my eyebrows got to raise. If 3 or more people say it, what's the common denominator in that? That's you. So chances are, without actually knowing, you're 99% sure that person's probably doing what people are saying that person's doing. For all of this information to come out about what he did, and I don't want to get into it. You can look it up. All the offenses that he incurred. He gets traded from Houston because you can't stay in Houston now. It's really tarnished. He gets traded. He gets a guaranteed contract. first of his kind in history of the NFL. He goes to Cleveland. Now he's Cleveland's problem. He's got to try to settle all this stuff that's going on with him off the field, and he's got to come out there and perform. He was hurt. He was trying to get healthy. He started to be healthy last year. Okay, now, but he wasn't playing well. So this year he comes out. He hasn't played well at all. I mean, it's been dreadful. Really, really bad. So he tears his Achilles this past Sunday in the game. And people were cheering that he tore his Achilles. You had people coming out, some of his teammates, Jameis Winston, some of the news pundits and analysts that come out on Monday morning, blasting. Everybody's blasting the fans. How dare you cheer this man for getting hurt? I had to sit back and think a little bit about it, because to me there were layers with this. Now, I felt like there was one layer of people who were upset with him actually being with the Cleveland Browns because of what he did. And I would just start to say, if you had a sister or a daughter, or maybe it was your wife that apparently, he did some of these things to, you probably are going to be, happy that, yeah, okay, karma's what, as they say, right? So you got a layer of people there. You also have a layer of people who know that he's only in the game because upper management is probably saying, hey, we paid this dude a shit ton of money. We ain't bringing him out. We got to play him because we're eating this money. Even though he is terrible, he should have been benched. Based on his play, based on how that offense just is dreadful with how it looks. And we're like 6 or 7 weeks into the season, and it still looked bad, right? I think he had some very few flashes or glimpses, but it was like all signs point to it was bad. His worst career, all of those stats and stuff. But you just watched him play, and it just looked bad. I think it was a lot going on with him mentally because of all the other stuff. Now, to me, if that's true, that's self-inflicted mental stuff. That's not like you find out that, a family member who's close to you is afflicted with some disease or something that, genetically or something, that they got something that they got to deal with. That's something you can't control. You can control what all this stuff is that he said he was doing, right? So I get that there were people booing. I felt like people were booing for two reasons. The one was, what he had did or alleged to have done. And the fact that, okay, he's starting because they paid him all this money. We know that he shouldn't be starting. He should be benched. So now when he gets hurt, now he's hurt. Now we know we're going to get another quarterback in the game because thank God we're finally going to get somebody else because we know it's not working, right? It's definition of insanity. And I think some people were cheering for that. Now, maybe they weren't cheering for him to get hurt. Maybe they were cheering with the chance that, okay, goodness, good. We're going to get somebody else in there and see if we can play better. And from what I understand, the offense was really looking better with Jameis Winston coming in towards the end or whatever. Now, obviously, it could be junk plays and stuff. We don't know. We'll know more this week. But my point with all of this is I really don't think we should be hypocrites. People who are hypocrites, who say, oh, well, you shouldn't cheer a person's injury, right? You don't see many people getting opposing players in other stadiums when they get hit or something, or they're injured on the field and you don't see people cheering. Now, I think the only instance I remember was Philadelphia cheering Michael Irvin laying on the field lifeless. when he was hit. Now that was classless. I'll say that was classless because Michael Irvin ain't did nothing to y'all but win. He talks trash. He wins. He's won Super Bowl. Right now, there was some stuff that was going on, drug related, that he might have been, smoking and pot and crack and all of that stuff. But he wasn't hurting nobody with any of the stuff that apparently he did. Right? But they were cheering him hurt because they didn't like him. Okay? I don't think people should be hypocrites because if you turn around, if somebody does something really bad to you, let's say your grandma or your grandpa gets scammed by somebody and they lose hundreds of thousands of dollars or whatever it is, they lose money in something and they are really just devastated. You're devastated with everything. You're trying to help them out. If that person who had something to do with it, you find out about who that person is, and that person gets hit by a truck and dies, you're not going to feel good. I mean, you're not going to feel bad. You're going to probably be like, yeah, that blankety blank got what they deserve. That's kind of how people look at it. Somebody cuts you off in traffic, you get mad and stuff like that. And then now maybe that person gets in the wrong lane and now they have to stop while you're passing them. You might say, yeah, that's what you get. Shifting lanes, right? Or, maybe they run into something and to a little fender bender or something. That's what you get. Trying to do all of this. We all do it. We all do it. I tell you what, if I guarantee you those people that he affected and their families were probably cheering. Are you saying those people were classless for cheering for him, knowing that what he possibly did and what he put those people to? So, yeah, if it's not perfect. It's sad, but you gotta also think of what if it's something personally. It was something that he did to himself by doing what he did. So, you got to get your comeuppance. Now, I don't know if he did it. All I know is when you have this many lawsuits, when you have this many people coming up and standing up and saying it, come on, man. Come on, we can't be naive and start to be like, oh no, they just all lying. Yeah? Really? Okay. All right. Okay, all right. If that's what you believe, that's what you believe. So that's my 2 cents in it. I'm sure there are gonna be people disagreeing. Like, oh man, this, and this. You shouldn't say that. I'm not saying you should cheer for somebody to get hurt. I'm just saying I understand the two reasons why he got cheered for being hurt, right? And if what he did is what he did, I can't be mad at people cheering for it. I didn't cheer, me personally, but I understand it. I understand it. And people who say that it's wrong, don't be hypocrites, because everybody there's no person in this world that hadn't had something bad happen to them or somebody close that they hope that person get what they deserve. All right? Okay. All right. Now, let me move on to my basketball ideology. I probably lost some people there. Oh, they turn up, man. What did K talking about today, man? He tripping. I ain't listening to this. I'm sorry if I really, if I upset you. Hit me on the comments. Explain to me. Look, I'm not one of those people that feel like they always right, that can't be proven wrong. If you got a point or something that I'm not looking at, I'll reevaluate my stance of what I'm saying. But I feel strongly about standing on the things that I said. But hey, I'll listen. If you comment, now just keep your comments classy, because we reaching kids and stuff. You see, I'm trying not to use profane language like I used to. All right, so back to basketball ideology. I want to talk about the difference between rushing and speeding up. Well, what does that mean? Rushing and speeding up. That's the same thing, Kay. No, it's not. When you're playing sports, well, you know what? Really anything. This doesn't just apply in sports. It applies in life. If you rush through something, you're not going to get it the way you should, right? It's not gonna work the way it should because you rushed through it. You missed some details. You didn't get it right. So I'll give you, in the basketball sense, something that I'm talking about. If I work with a kid to go jab right, one dribble with the left hand, hesitate, they go between the legs, and then crossover, and then pull up jump shot, right? That's the move. I'm gonna use this move as an example because this is something I was working on with an intermediate kid to try to get them a little bit more, to add more stuff to their game, because it's like, look, we're doing pull up jump shots, the jabs, pump fakes. They're starting to feel like kids are able to still be there with them. So I was like, okay, we want to create a little bit more separation. So I'm not saying this move was a move he had to do, but I was giving him ideas with how to create space and to be able to manipulate the defender with the ball handle, right? So the kid went jab right, one bounce, hesitation, between cross, shot. That's exactly how they were doing it. Between cross, shot. The move was jab right, bounce, hesitation, between, cross, pull up. So if you notice, there's a pause between and cross. With him, there was no pause. He was going right into it. And when he went right into it, when he would go up to shoot, 90% of the time, no, 75% of the time, his balance was off, and he was basically kind of throwing the ball up because he was rushing to get to the shot. So what I had to do was break it down and tell him that, look, you have to slow this part down, and you have to get your footwork right when you're going into the shot. Because if you rush this, it's going to feel like you're throwing the ball up, and then you're not going to get the results you want. So I had to work with him on the pace with the between part and into the cross. And then I had to work with him on getting to the spot comfortably. Now, here's a dynamic that I'll share. When you're doing a move going from right to left, your footwork is such that you should, like 99% of the time, be on balance, because if you're a right-hand shooter, your right foot is naturally going to be right in front, slightly in front as you're doing your steps. So you're going to be naturally where you need to shoot. When you are doing this move going from left to right, there are things that you have to take in consideration, which I have to take in consideration with the kids that I train, because everybody's different. Some kids shoot where they are heavily dependent on their right side. Meaning, if you're standing in front of let's visualize this. You're standing in front of the basketball goal, and your feet are on the free throw line. So your right foot is like just barely touching the line, right? We're not shooting free throws, so it's not a violation. So I'm giving you a visual. Your right foot's there. Your left foot is kind of balanced, it's about shoulder length apart. Your left foot is probably 3 to 4 inches behind the free throw line, right? So you're basically kind of more on your right side, but you're balanced, okay? That's the normal footwork and balance of a lot of people. But now you have kids who have grown up, and their shooting motion is such that right foot is still where it is, right? Your hips and stuff are facing the basketball goal. But now you have kids that their right foot is there, that left foot is now 7 to 8 inches behind your right foot, and your hips are not pointing towards the backboard. They're pointing towards the left side of the backboard. So you're almost perpendicular, I believe that's the term I would use, to the goal. You're facing another way, and if you put your follow through up, only your right arm in hand is pointing at the goal. Your left shoulder is going to be pointing pretty much away from it, right? Your left arm with the way. I probably have to demonstrate it with visuals, and maybe I'll do a video on that. I have to demonstrate that, but that's kind of how it will look. So when I have kids like that who really turn a lot more to one side or another, and I have that balance, when they're going left to right, I have to take that in consideration and show them how to correct their hips so they can be almost in the same position that they normally shoot a regular jump shot in. I hope that makes sense. If not, message me. I think I'm gonna have to put up a video just to kind of display what I'm saying. Well, in any case, because the kid couldn't get wasn't sure with how to get, he couldn't get to where he needed to in this move, he was often kind of throwing the ball up, throwing the shot up. So that's rushing. So what we had to do was start it to get them understanding, number one, the nuances of the between and then the cross. There's a pause, right? And I showed them how to do it in a way that, makes it comfortable for them. But then I had to show him about turning the hips and using his footwork to get his feet set to where he needed to be when he took that shot. It took a while. Once he got it, then I was able to start to speed it up to where he could do it faster without rushing. Now, I'm going to give you a perfect example of the difference between speeding up and rushing. My perfect example is if the ball is passed from the wing to the corner, you catch the ball in the corner and you're going to shoot a jump shot. But when you're getting ready to shoot the jump shot, you know that strong side person that's guarding you was in a help position, is now running out to challenge the shot, contest, block, close out, whatever it is. You catch the ball and you know that they're coming fast, so you just catch it and kind of throw it up, right, to get the shot off. That's rushing. And it's more of a panic rush, but it's still rush. That's, to me, what rush is you're panicking. You're trying to hurry up and get the ball out your hands by shooting it. Speeding the shot up means that we take where you're at and we force you to go a little bit faster here and there. So here's an example. If I have you to shoot I have a timer where you can catch the ball, and I started at 0.6 of a second. So you catch the ball and you got to have it out of your hands before the buzzer goes off at 0.6. I let you shoot that 5 to 7 times. Now you understand how your shot needs to come out faster. Then I speed it up to 0.5. Now you feel that you got to shoot it a little bit faster. Then I move it to 0.4. Now you're going game speed with being able to shoot your shot. That's speeding it up without rushing. Okay. So that's a process that I have to do. And it's a lot of other stuff, but sometimes you have to just start off as simple as your footwork and shooting and being able to go up in a faster motion. Because what I explain to kids is, look, if you speed from your catch, your gather, your dip, and your release, you speed those things up. Now that defender has to come out at you faster because they know that you're shooting faster. You're not rushing, you're shooting faster. If they're coming at you faster and they know they have to get out there faster, they open themselves up for a pump fake, one dribble pull, or a pump fake drive for a layup, or drive and kick, whatever it is that you can get out of it. Okay, so that's the difference between rushing and speeding up. I hope that helped. I get a lot of it. Even with some advanced kids sometimes, with some things that I'm doing with them that they're not used to doing, and they tend to kind of rush their shot. So it's really something to have to try to help them slow it down. And then once I show them and I point out to them that was a rush shot, now they understand it. So now they can really work to not be rushed. All right, so last week I mentioned, we're having all of this innovative tools, interactive stuff that we have. I'm going to highlight the first interactive tool I got. It's the Noah basketball. It's Noah Analytic Shooting Basketball. So question could be, why Noah? Why? What was significant about Noah that you can't get with what you regularly do and what you get with Dr. Dish or a shooting machine. Well, here's why Noah is very helpful. And I love Dr. Dish. You know, I've had Dr. Dish. I mean, I didn't get the gun or the grind or any of those other things. I purchased a Dr. Dish. I love it. I'm sure I would love one of those other machines, although Dr. Dish did things at the time that were great with as far as the apps and analytics, with showing you your shooting percentage, where you're shooting from, and those things, shot charts. Okay, all right, that's great. What is the difference between the two? And what is the difference between what I do in a regular workout? With Noah, Noah has combined all of those things that you get from a shooting, app, showing your shot chart, where you shot from, if there were makes or misses, what the map shows, the heat map, what the stats show. You were shooting in the corner, mid range. You shot 12 shots. You were 5 of 12 from that spot. So you could see. All Dr. Dish does all of that, right? So it's like, okay, it does all of this. So what's up with Noah? Well, Noah does a couple of things different. Noah tracks every shot, right? Just like Dr. Dish machine does. Dr. Dish does it with a sensor once the ball hits the rim. Noah tracks it with a camera. So there's a camera that's watching, that picks up every shot. Now, this is what Noah has identified as the three things that can lead to consistent, perfect shooting: your arc, your depth, and your left right. Okay, so what is your arc, Kay? Well, they say the perfect arc for a jump shot is 45 degrees. Now look, I'm old. I still shoot. My arc is higher than that, but I can still shoot. Now, if I was younger, back playing, I obviously can work, because I've gotten my arc down and stuff, but I'm comfortable with my arc, right? And that's just me. All right. So, but the benefit to the arc is, yes, you're going to make tons of more shots at 45 degrees than you are going to make them at 60 degrees or at 30 degrees, right? It tracks that. So on the app, you can see, damn, my arc is this, my arc is that. It tracks every shot. Every shot you put up, it's going to be able to track it, and that camera's going to, capture it, and it's going to spit it out. And it spits it out, I think, in 3 to 4 seconds. So 3 to 4 seconds after you take a shot, you're going to see the results come up. All right. Next is your depth. Now, from the front of the rim to the back of the rim is 18 inches. The middle of the rim would be at 9 inches. Noah says that the perfect depth is between 9 and 11 inches. Now, to me, this is just me. I mean, everybody's going to have their reason. To me, I feel like the depth is more important, because I teach kids to shoot to the back of the rim. I've always shown them that. I've always tried to show them where the follow through needs to be. And I always thought it was 45 degrees, but mine is a little bit higher than 45. But I tell them to shoot with a better arc, so the shot's not flat, right? So with your depth, when you shoot, it's gonna also record your depth. So your depth is at 7, or it's at 12, or it's at 13, or it's at 10, or at 8, right? Now, it doesn't mean that if you're not at 9 or from 9 to 11, you're missing shots. Doesn't mean if your shot arc isn't at 45, you're missing shots. That's not what it's saying. Left, right. Left, right means that your shot's going to the right or your shot's going to the left. Okay, what does that mean? Well, you want it to be at 0. That means that you're shooting straight. From whatever position you are shooting, your shot's going straight. It's not moving to the left, it's not moving to the right. If it goes to the right, it's a plus. If it goes to the left, it's a minus. So if you look at the chart and it shows -2, then your shot is to the left at 2 inches, or to the right, or whatever it is. Okay, so you fix that, your shot is more dead on. Okay, now it does all of that. It gives you the information after you when you're looking at the app when you shoot. Okay, well, one other thing it does, because it's like, well, that's great, but that doesn't help. That helps me after the fact. Yeah, well, what Noah does is Noah has a system that when you're shooting, it speaks to you. So on the app, it'll speak to you. It'll let you know after every shot what it is as it records it. Also, in the gym, the loudspeaker will tell you. So if you shoot, it'll tell you when you shoot the shot 49 if you're doing it on arc. So you know your shot was at 49. You shoot the next one, 52. Okay, all right, it was a little bit too higher. Then you shoot it again, 47. Oh, okay, I get a feel for that one. So now you're getting what we call instant feedback, which is crucial to muscle memory. Because I can tell you that your shot's too high or too flat. This tells you what it is. So this is more than what I can tell you because it's giving you a number and you know what your target number is, right? So once you know your target number, you can understand how to get closer to wherever you want, or you can get closer to wherever you what you need. You can get in a range. Now, are you going to always be 45? No, unless you're a robot. You know, the robot thing's gonna have it the way it needs to. And my understanding is with doing this technology, with learning, that's kind of what they looked at, right? Now, are we robots? No, but we can get into a range that will allow us to feel more comfortable with the shot. Knowing that if you shoot mid-range shots, you're fine, but if you shoot threes, your shots are always short. Okay, you gotta use your leg and shoot a little bit stronger. Now your shot's where it needs to be, right? But you're hearing that instant feedback and it helps. It has other charts. It shows you your arc with a shot chart showing where each of your shots were arcing, how it looked. If it was, so you can look at it and say, okay, yeah, I see what this, all of my shots are this high and they're landing over here. Also has a rim map where you can look inside the rim and see where all of your shots are landing. As you shoot more and more, you should start to get better and have a bigger concentration of shots in a particular area if you're following suit with what Noah has. So, question is, why add Noah? My question is, why not? Because getting that constant feedback is different than somebody telling you, man, your shot flat. Your shot too high. Shooting to this. You're doing this. Now I'm gonna let this robotic, not algorithm. I'm gonna let this camera video or take the picture of it and spit it out that doesn't have any skin in the game. Now, I don't have any skin in the game. My job is to help you get better. But at some point, my voice can kind of, you're hearing it, but at some point you might be like, man, look, I keep hearing you saying it, but I'm making it. With this, I don't have to say anything. It shows. And I point out to the kids that, look, if your arc is at 49 or 50, and that's just where you're comfortable with, and by trying to get to 45, you are going to it's going to hurt your shot, then, okay, stay at around 49 or 50. Find out what it is that really hurts your shots. And here's how it also helps. It gives you a score on your arc, on your depth, on your left, right. It'll give you a score, whether it's an A through F or A through D. I don't know if I've seen an F, but you'll get a score. Then it'll give you a score on your consistency. So it'll let you know that, okay, hey, you're shooting at a D. Your depth is at a D because you're shooting at 7, but you are getting an A in consistency, which is helpful because I know if I can go from a 7 to an 11, then I know I'm probably going to consistently shoot at an 11, right? And then it gives you a splash zone score where it shows, if your score is good because you're doing that. And in this chart, it'll show you where your arc is and if it's good, bad, or ugly. Good is green. It's like green is good, yellow is fair, and red is bad. So red would be ugly, Yellow would be bad, but you can change those things as you go. The more you shoot on it, so this is why I've added Noah. And I really strongly feel that it is a tool that will be used by hundreds, if not thousands, of kids in more and more places. We're a pioneer in getting it because nobody has this shooting technology. I want to say within 300-400 miles. I don't even think the colleges have this. I don't think NMSU or UTEP has it. They probably will because at some point somebody's going to come by and ask us if they can see how it works. Schools can use it for games. They put them on both goals and they can track shots during games and stuff. That's real analytical. A lot of colleges are using this technology. A lot of shooting coaches are lauding this. I laud it because it's something of a tool that I know can be helpful. 28 out of the 30 NBA teams are using it. I'm wondering what those other two NBA teams are doing that aren't using it. But hey, if you got something that you feel is not broke, I guess don't fix it. Not everybody's gonna gravitate to everything. I know who found it back in 2018, 19, or 2021, somewhere in that time. Steph Curry. Steph Curry started finding out about it and using it, and it helped his shot. And apparently there is data and stuff to show how his shot, became even more consistent after using it. Dwayne Wade has used it. I mean, there are a lot of people that are speaking on it. So this is why we use Noah, which is why we added Noah, and it's a tool to help shooters. So if you are somebody who wants to get a quick demo on it to help your shot, get at me. Message me and let me know, because I can give you a demo. I don't charge you for a demo, and then let you know how it is and go from there. And then, if it's something you want to add to your game, then that's fabulous. If it's something you say, nah, I'm not good, I'm good, okay, that's fine. I know better. I know, yeah. Now, if you're shooting 90% from the three, from the field and stuff, yeah, of course, Noah could probably help you get 95, 98. But if you're shooting 90%, I'll ride with the fact that you're okay. But if you're in the 20s, and you consistently been a 20 to 25% 3-point shooter, yeah, you might need to look into this and find out why you're at 20 to 25. Because if above everything, it'll help you understand your shot. Dr. Dish doesn't help you understand your shot. It lets you know what you're making from spots, but it doesn't let you know why you're making them from those spots and why you're missing them from other spots. Your left right could be off shooting on the right side, but perfect on the left side. Your arc could be higher when you shoot from certain spots, or your depth could be different from certain spots, right? So knowing those will definitely help you. So it's a great tool, and like I said, get at me if you want information, but it is something that you will start to hear about more and more as the days, months, and years go by. Okay, that's it for today. I think I kind of went faster than what I thought. I didn't rush. I just kind of went a little bit faster with stuff. I'll have to go back and listen because I'm like, how did I sound when I was talking about these different things? Did I articulate what I needed to articulate? And I guess you guys will let me know, like, man, I don't know what the hell you was talking about with that. you need to go back and rewrite that or something, or edit it. But look, our YouTube channel is growing. Our subscribers are increasing. If you know somebody, because I took all of my basketball content from my that I was selling and I put it on my YouTube channel, and it's free. Free content, beginner's basketball course. And I'm going to be adding to it, and I'm going to be adding some other stuff. So if you know somebody that's wanting to learn how to play ball and maybe they don't have the time to go to training or something, maybe they're financially strapped, let them know. Let them take a look at it. It's great. Look, I was gonna be charging. I should have been charging way everything was panning out. My price should have been close to $400 for this course. You're getting something like this for free, and this is something that you can go back to time and time again. So utilize it. and tell me what you think. If there are drills, you subscribe on it. You can only comment if you subscribe to me. You can't just be somebody that calls and comments and asks me something. I'm gonna say, hey man, you subscribe to my channel. That's the only way. I'm not charging you to subscribe, but I feel like if you subscribe, then you're vested. You're invested in what your content. You're not just some guy who just, oh yeah, okay, all right, I'm gonna go somewhere. No, take your time and learn. So make sure you like, subscribe, follow, comment on our social media. My TikTok, my Instagram, my Facebook, my YouTube, and my Twitter. All right, hit me up. Let me know what you think. So I'm going to end it like I always do. If it was easy, everyone would be doing it. I'm out.
Street cred sports, say it with your chest. Yeah. Go get it from the net. Street cred sports, okay, that's a bet.